consolas. Consolas.
The chosen of Andraste, a blessed hero sent to save us all.
I've no interest in being a hero. All I want is to find a way to seal this breach.
Pragmatic, but ultimately irrelevant. I've journeyed deep into the Fade in ancient ruins and battlefields to see the dreams of lost civilizations. I've watched as hosts of spirits clash to reenact the bloody past in ancient wars, both famous and forgotten. Every great war has its heroes. I'm just curious what kind you'll be.
What do you mean, ruins and battlefields?
Any building strong enough to withstand the rigors of time has a history. Every battlefield is steeped in death. Both attract spirits. They press against the veil, weakening the barrier between our worlds. When I dream in such places, I go deep into the Fade. I can find memories no other living being has ever seen.
You fall asleep in the middle of ancient ruins. Isn't that dangerous?
I do set wards. And if you leave food out for the giant spiders, they are usually content to live and let live.
I've never heard of anyone going so far into the Fade. That's extraordinary.
Thank you. It's not a common field of study for obvious reasons. Not so flashy as throwing fire or lightning. The thrill of finding remnants of a 1,000-year-old dream? I would not trade it for anything. I will stay there. At least until the breach has been closed.
Was that in doubt?
I am an apostate surrounded by Chantry forces in the middle of a mage rebellion. Cassandra has been accommodating, but you understand my caution.
Cassandra trusts you. She won't let anyone put you into a circle against your will.
Thank you. I appreciate the thought. But now let us hope either the mages or the Templars have the power to seal the breach.
Ok, es solo la primera introducción, vean.
Closing the breach is our primary goal. But I hope we might also discover what was used to create it. Any artifact of such power is dangerous. The destruction of the Conclave proves that much.
You don't think whatever created the explosion was destroyed in the blast?
You survived, did you not? The artifact that created the breach is unlike anything seen in this age. I will not believe it destroyed until I see the shattered fragments with my own eyes.
We would do well to try to recover whatever created the breach.
Liliana's people have scoured the area near the blast and found nothing. Whatever the artifact was, it is no longer there. In any case, did you need me for anything?
What do you know about the Fade?
A great deal, from my wanderings. There are few hard facts, but I can share what I have learned.
I'd like to know more about the breach.
Simply put, it is a tear in the veil between this world and the Fade, allowing spirits to enter the world physically. Small tears occur naturally when magic weakens the veil, or when spirits cluster at an area that has seen many deaths. But your mark allows you to exert some control over the breach. That means it was created deliberately.
I'd like to know more about the veil.
Circle mages call it a barrier between this world and the Fade. But according to my studies in ancient elven lore, that is a vast oversimplification. Without it, imagine if spirits entered freely. The Fade was not a place one went, but a state of nature like the wind.
It sounds like it would be wonderful.
And dangerous. But yes, a world where imagination defines reality. Where spirits are as common as trees or grass. Instead, spirits are strange and fearful. And the Fade is a terrifying world touched only by mages and dreamers. I am glad that I'm not alone in seeing the beauty of such a world, along with the obvious peril.
I'd like to know more about demons.
The Chantry says that demons hate the natural world and seek to bring their chaos and destruction to the living. But such simplistic labels misconstrue their motivations, and in so doing, do all a great disservice. Spirits wish to join the living, and a demon is that wish gone wrong.
Is there a way to coexist? To live with them? If not in peace, at least without such active confrontation.
Not in the world we know today. The veil creates a barrier that makes true understanding most unlikely. But the question is a good one, and it matters that you thought to ask.
We'll talk later.
Goodbye.
Ok. Voy a leer este códice. Tutorial. ¿Qué más? Ok, espíritus y demonios. Cuando primero la invoqué era rosa, no marchitaba, cambiaba o pinchaba. Puro amor colmaba un alma dichosa que nunca odiaba. Ansiaba o desperdiciaba. Segunda vez le hice cruzar el velo y gocé un paseo, un baile, un beso. Tan perfecta belleza dona el cielo que cualquiera ante ella caería preso. Más por mi flaqueza hubo vez tercera, ignorando la sana precaución, la desató una palabra certera, y dijo aferrado mi corazón, aunque yo era amor, tu pasión ardiente forja este espíritu en deseo hiriente. Soneto El amante y su espíritu de un cantar para soñadores del maese Horatius. Okay. Voy a grabar. Vamos a ver qué dice Solas. Oh. ¿Qué onda contigo, Solas? Ah, se trabó. No me puedo mover. Ok, esto es reiniciar el juego, no me puedo mover. Algo extraño pasó ahí. Ya se empezó a mover. Venga.
What can I do for you?
Háblame de ti.
I'd like to know more about you, Solus.
Why?
You're an apostate, yet you risked your freedom to help the Inquisition.
Not the wisest course of action when framed that way.
I appreciate the work you're doing, Solus. I just wanted to know more about you.
I'm sorry. There's so much fear in the air. What would you know of me?
What made you start studying the Fade?
I grew up in a village to the north. There was little to interest a young man, especially one gifted with magic. But as I slept, spirits of the Fade showed me glimpses of wonders I had never imagined. I treasured my dreams. Being awake, out of the Fade, became troublesome.
Did spirits try to tempt you?
No more than brightly colored fruit is deliberately tempting you to eat it. I learned how to defend myself from more aggressive spirits and how to interact safely with the rest. I learned how to control my dreams with full consciousness. There was so much I wanted to explore.
I gather you didn't spend your entire life dreaming.
No. Eventually, I was unable to find new areas in the Fade.
Why?
2 reasons. First, the Fade reflects the world around it. Unless I traveled, I would never find anything new. Second, the Fade reflects and is limited by our imaginations. To find interesting areas, one must be interested.
Is this why you joined the Inquisition?
I joined the Inquisition because we were all in terrible danger. If our enemies destroy the world, I would have nowhere to lay my head while dreaming of the Fade.
I wish you luck.
Thank you. In truth, I've enjoyed experiencing more of life to find more of the Fade.
How so?
You train to flick a dagger or an arrow to its target. The grace with which you move is a pleasing side benefit. You have chosen a path whose steps you do not dislike because it leads to a destination you enjoy. As have I.
You said you traveled to many different places.
This world, or its memory, is reflected in the Fade. Dream in ancient ruins, you may see a city lost to history. Some of my fondest memories were found in crumbling cities, long picked dry by treasure seekers, the best of the battlefields. Spirits press so tightly on the veil that you can slip across with but a thought.
Any place in particular?
I dreamt at Ostagar. I witnessed the brutality of the Darkspawn and the valor of the Ferelden warriors. I saw Alistair and the hero Ferelden light the signaled fire, and Logain's infamous betrayal of Kaelin's forces.
I've heard the stories. It would be interesting to hear what it was really like.
That's just it. In the Fade, I see reflections created by spirits who react to the emotions of the warriors. One moment, I see heroic wardens lighting the fire, and a power-mad villain sneering as he lets King Kaelin fall. The next, I see an army overwhelmed and a veteran commander refusing to let more souls die in a lost cause.
And you can't tell which is real?
It is the Fade. They are all real.
Have you always traveled and studied alone?
Not at all. I have built many lasting friendships. Spirits of wisdom, possessed of ancient knowledge, happy to share what they had seen. Spirits of purpose helped me search. Even wisps, curious and playful, would point out treasures I might have missed.
I don't know of any spirits by those names.
They rarely seek this world. When they do, their natures do not often survive exposure to the people they encounter. Wisdom and purpose are too easily twisted to pride and desire.
You're saying that you became friends with Pride and Desire demons?
They were not demons for me.
Meaning?
The Fade reflects the minds of the living. If you expect a spirit of wisdom to be a pride demon, it will adapt. And if your mind is free of corrupting influences, if you understand the nature of the spirit, they can be fast friends.
I'm impressed that you could become friends with spirits.
Anyone who can dream has the potential. Few ever try. My friends comforted me in grief and shared my joy. Yet, because they exist without form, as we understand it, the Chantry declares that spirits are not truly people. Is Cassandra defined by her cheekbones and not her faith? Varric by his chest hair and not his wit?
I hadn't thought about it that way, but I see your point.
Thank you. Few are willing to entertain such a notion.
We'll talk later.
Goodbye.
Que creo que ya son todas.
What can I do for you?
Sí, ya son.
We'll talk later.
Goodbye.
Sí, ahora voy a salir, a hacer las misiones que
Have you
tengo.
heard about the refugees out in the hinterlands near Rome? Good luck sealing those rifts.
Sí, antes voy a ir a... acá.
We'll need some of your cloth for bandages.
I don't see why we need to build siege equipment. We're not laying siege to anything.
That's an excellent point, Recruit. But if someone comes to lay siege to us, perhaps it will be best for us to have some means to fight back.
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir.
Eso es cierto, si bien he jugado Total War, digo, no sé qué tan buena representación sea de la historia real o de una batalla real, pero algunas de las que podrían servir como defensa.
Who are we fighting anyway, sir? I've heard it was mages. Demons. No one really knows.
That's the Maker's truth. All you need to know is that we're holding this place against whoever comes to take it.
Órdenes de conseguir. Como sabrás por los terribles accidentes de la semana pasada, muchos pasadizos que cruzaban las montañas son inestables, proclives a derrumbarse en cualquier momento. No deseo que perdamos más hermanos y hermanas en búsqueda del tesoro perdido de los adoradores. Debemos sellar todas las entradas a la montaña. Los templarios han peinado cuidadosamente las cuevas y se han llevado todo lo que era de valor. Los restos de los discípulos de Andraste que hay aquí se olvidarán y quedarán enterrados. Una vez que se haga esto, no volveremos a entrar. habían devuelto a la vida la madre protectora. Hay que enterrar el pasado para construir el futuro. Armas de asedio en Tedas. Las armas de asedio se han usado en Tedas desde hace siglos, datando las más antiguas de la tercera ruina. No obstante, y debido a sus requisitos, ocupan un nicho muy peculiar dentro de las herramientas de guerra. Cualquier ejército que quiera tener fundíbulos o catapultas debe contar con la organización y los fondos para disponer de los materiales y los expertos militares necesarios en su construcción. A lo largo de la historia, la mayoría de los ejércitos que contaban con tales requisitos no supieron aprovecharlos durante la tercera ruina. Por ejemplo, Arlesans y Montsimar construyeron catapultas para lanzar escombros ardientes a los inviernos tenebrosos, pero el coste de las armas no justificaba los escasos daños que causaban y fueron, en última instancia, los guardas grises quienes derrotaron a los engendros. Las fuerzas tibinterianas también disponían de los recursos para construir armas de asedio, con las que atacar a los marqueños o defenderse de las gloriosas marchas de la era oscura. Aún así, el imperio se centró en el poder de sus maestros, aunque no tan fuertes, eran más flexibles que las herramientas de asedio y su retirada era más sencilla si cambiaba el curso de la batalla. En consecuencia, en las batallas contra los Kunari de la era del acero, los generales para su desgracia se vieron superados por los hombres buey. Casi todos los expertos militares están de acuerdo en que la pólvora Kunari no es mágica, simplemente es una forma avanzada de alquimia que hace que esos cañones sean más eficaces de lo que jamás será el fundíbulo. De cualquier modo, hay esperanza. Han pasado siglos desde la última ruina y ahora los magos están en los círculos y no pueden dañar a nadie. Los expertos de Ferelden y Orley vuelven a dedicar sus grandes mentes al aprendizaje. No necesitamos magia, sino ponemos trabas a las mentes de los hombres. Con nuestros recursos y nuestro compromiso con el conocimiento podemos superar fácilmente a los salvajes Kunari en el campo de batalla. De Kun, Burns y Acero, conflictos militares enteras posterior a la ruina, escrito en 929 de la Roca, un poco después del inicio de la mitad de la ruina. LOL. Magia y ciencia se están fuera de control, son peligrosas. Saldré a ver qué me encuentro por acá. Y una vez que tenga los tres cosas para realizar esto.
If the Inquisition wants to field a decent cavalry, it needs better tools. I heard Seeker Pentecost might try to acquire suitable mounts from Master Denon.
Expected you'd be by. I'm Harriet, and everyone knows who you are. How's the new gear fit?
Sturdy and warm. It's perfect.
Good. World's gone mad. Stock armor and blades are good against bandits, but we're not fighting bandits. My gear will see you through demons, apostates, whatever this world throws at you. So, you need custom work, something special. You bring the materials to us, we'll make it happen.
How did you come to be here?
Come from a little town called Lothering. Long gone now. I was in Redcliffe when the Darkspawn hit it during the Blight. Helped rebuild. Left when royalty decided it was time to hand the place over to the bloody mages. Ended up here. Just missed the boom. Can't decide if I'm the luckiest son of a bitch walking or the exact opposite.
You're still walking. That's always good.
True enough.
Who outfits the Inquisition soldiers?
Not me. I've got work to do. Can't be passing a sword to every blighter who signs up. If you want to help the troops, talk to Thren, the quartermaster. She'll set up requisitions.
Quartermaster.
Does the Inquisition not have supplies to make armor or weapons?
Tough convincing traders to haul up here. Impossible to get them to risk the rare stuff, so that's on you.
What can you and your team make here?
Arms and armour. We work iron to blighted dragon bone, if you've got it. Our designs are simple, but they get the job done. You want something fancy? Bring your own design. We'll see what we can do.
If I want something, what can you make?
Start simple. Something to keep you safe. Take a look at it on the table there and we can talk. You'll need materials. We should have what you want just outside.
Can you help improve my arms and armor?
Yes. You find a new piece, a pauldron or greaves, we'll take care of you. You can't just slap a new hilt on your sword in the field. Bring it here, we'll make sure it's done right and proper.
Ok.
Goodbye.
Right.
Cámara, chavo. ¿Qué es esto? Las aletas de cota explorador. Ok, ahorita voy a hacer todo esto. Si me pongo aquí me van a dar otro tutorial, así que me voy a poner también aquí. Ah no, ya me dan.
You need something.
Aquí. Ahí sí me dan otro tutorial.
Another time, then.
Y aquí ya. Okay.
You need something.
Bueno, aquí podemos comprar 3 de estas cosas. Compré 2, uno es para Gaby y otro es para Dude ese. No sé por qué no puedo grabar. Ok, ahí está Cassandra y Colin. Invierno. Sí, es importante agarrar las cosas, pero te llenas muy rápido de eso, aunque sí lo puedes utilizar. Ok, veré las armas. Ok, para ellas son estas. Puñal del recluta. Ok, el estilete. Aquí está. Listo. No tiene nada. Y la armadura que ya puede usar. No. Esta que es ligera. Que es de magos. Ok, esta... Los oficiales del ejército con nariz. Ok, esa es la mejor armadura, pero... es mejor dársela a Cassandra. Que voy a ponérsela a Cassandra. Y Cassandra podría usar esta. Oh, está flaquísimo, seguro de tanto navegar el velo. podría utilizar esta. De hecho, creo que... Oh, no sé qué estoy haciendo. Ok. Sus pechos. Creo que sí es lo mejor esto. Ok, esto es lo que tenemos que hacer. Es de renovación. Se lo puse al Barrick. Ok, esto es importante. Uno para él. Y uno para Barrick. Y su amuleta de poder. Okay. Mi pana. Ok, estos objetos valiosos, un consejo, vendanlos todos, al igual que las armas que ya no usan y las armaduras que ya no usan. Diablo. Muy obvio, ¿verdad? Ok, yo tengo una idea sobre cómo acomodarme. Hacer cualquier cosa y yo lo dejo con Cassandra. Había como solo encontrar perdido
You there. There's a shield in your hand. Lock with it. If this man were your enemy, you'd be dead. Lieutenant, don't hold back. The recruits must prepare for a real fight, not a practice one.
Yes, Commander.
We've received a number of recruits. Locals from Haven and some pilgrims. None made quite the entrance you did.
I just hope I can help.
As do we all. It is enough that you would try. I was recruited to the Inquisition in Kirkwall myself. I was there during the Mage Uprising. I saw firsthand the devastation it caused.
Sir.
Cassandra sought a solution. When she offered me a position, I left the Templars to join her cause. Now it seems we face something far worse.
I must have this mark for a reason. It will work. I'm sure of it.
Provided we can secure aid, but I'm confident we can. The Chantry lost control of both Templars and Mages. Now they argue over a new Divine while the breach remains. The Inquisition could act when the Chantry cannot. Our followers would be part of that. There's so much we can... Forgive me. I doubt you came here for a lecture.
You understand our situation. I appreciate your opinion.
Look around. Our people are well organized and committed. Despite what the clerics think, we are in the best position to help. There's still a lot of work ahead.
Commander, Sir Raiden has a report on our supply lines.
As I was saying.
See reasonless. We cannot stay here.
Why not?
Because we're Templars.
What does that even mean anymore? That we splinter and fight amongst ourselves instead of protecting the mages?
Better that than stay here with this Inquisition.
You're awfully quick to dismiss the people who saved your life, Patrick. You're the one they're calling the Herald.
If you know a way to make them stop, I'm all ears.
I don't. These things have a way of taking on their own life. But I'm glad it has not run to your head. I did not join the Order to adjust my faith so easily. But I appreciate what the Inquisition is trying to do, and your role in it. Though you may find not many Templars do. We're a distrustful lot by nature.
I'd like your take on the Templar Order.
It's a shadow of what it was. Where once we both protected all people from the dangers of magic, we now posture and grab at power. One day, I hope the circles are again sanctuaries where mages can practice their craft.
You're not going to rejoin the Order?
When the temple went up, your forces rescued those few of us still alive. My life is a debt I intend to repay, however I can.
Do you have any idea what caused the explosion?
No, I'm just a recruit. Belief and faith doesn't get you closer to the important meetings. Though that distance did save my life.
How did you come to be a Templar?
It seemed the right thing to do. My family are tradesfolk in Denerim. I could have become a cobbler like my father, but this seemed better. It's a chance to uphold the Chantry's laws and help the mages through a troubled time.
Not every Templar feels that way.
I know. Power can corrupt. It's a delicate balance. One person trying to do something can make a difference. You should keep that in mind, Harold.
I will talk to you later.
Walk in the Maker's grace.
Yes?
Is there anything I should know?
Not at present.
Why would Templars break away from the Chantry?
The Order believes the Chantry no longer supports their efforts. Not to the extent they should.
What do you think of the people you work with?
What do you mean?
Are you satisfied with the Inquisition's forces?
Our numbers are small, but they suit our needs for the time being. Some Templars have joined us instead of following the Order. They've proven invaluable in training new recruits.
What do you think of our ambassador?
We have little in common. How she delights in meeting with nobles all day is beyond me. But I enjoy working with her.
How do you like working with Leliana?
The Inquisition would not exist without her. I may not always agree with her methods, but she's more passionate about our cause than anyone. Cassandra may have declared the Inquisition publicly. Liliana is just as responsible for its formation.
I should let you get back to work.
Was there something you needed?
I'd like to know more about the Templars.
If you need insight into what the Order is doing now, I'm afraid I can't offer more than you already know. Anything else, I will answer as best I can.
Why did you join the Order?
I could think of no better calling than to protect those in need. I used to beg the Templars as our local chantry to teach me. First, they merely humored me. I must have shown promise, or at least a willingness to learn. The Knight Captain spoke to my parents on my behalf. They agreed to send me for training. I was 13 when I left home.
13? That's still so young.
I wasn't the youngest there. Some children are promised to be Order at infancy. Still, I didn't take on full responsibilities until I was 18. The Order sees you trained and educated first.
What about your family? Did you miss them?
Of course, but there were many my age who felt the same. We learned to look out for one another.
Do the Templars do anything besides hunt mages?
Templars protect against the dangers of magic. Before the Order left the Chantry, that meant serving in a circle. They were also tasked with tracking apostates or fighting demons inevitably summoned by the weak or malicious.
What do you think of mages? Are they all a threat?
I've seen the suffering magic can inflict. I've treated mages with distrust because of it, at times without cause. That was unworthy of me. I will try not to do so. Not that I want mages moving through our base completely unchecked. We need safeguards in place to protect people, including mages, from possession of the beast.
You've lived in the Circle. What was a typical day for a Templar there?
Typical. The last time I was in a circle was right before it fell apart. Nothing was typical.
Before that, then?
Certain rituals require a full guard. A mage's howling, for instance. I've attended a few. Most of the time, you merely maintain a presence, on patrol or in the circle, ready to respond if needed. Mages pretend to ignore that presence, but they're watching you just as closely.
Do Templars and mages never speak to each other?
Some do, but Templars are supposed to maintain a certain distance from their charges. If a mage is possessed or uses blood magic, you must act quickly, without hesitation. Your judgment cannot be clouded. Of course, ignoring one another does nothing to foster understanding.
What does Templar training involve?
There is weapon and combat training. Even without their abilities, Templars are among the best warriors in Thedas. Initiates must also memorize portions of the Chant of Light, study history, and improve their mental focus.
Did you enjoy your training?
If I was giving my life to this, I would be the best Templar I could.
You were a model student.
I wanted to be. I wasn't always successful. Watching a candle burn down while reciting the chant of transfigurations wasn't the most exciting task. I admit, my mind sometimes wandered.
Do Templars take vows? I swear to the Maker to watch all the mages. That sort of thing.
There's a vigil first. You're meant to be at peace during that time, but your life is about to change. When it's over, you give yourself to a life of service. That's when you're given a filter, your first draft of lyrium, and its power. As Templars, we are not to seek wealth or acknowledgement. Our lives belong to the Maker and the path we have chosen.
Acá no sé si tener entrenamiento es una gran opción, pero no.
That's all I wanted to know. Thank you.
Una muy buena persona.
Yes.
Háblame de ti.
I should get to know you better. We are working together after all.
Would you like to know?
All right. Where are you from?
Estimada Lady Scott. ¿Ok? ¿Cómo hacerse el león? Que se ve si están haciendo responsabilidad sobre el tratamiento actualmente últimamente leído las cervezas. hace poco comenzamos a escribir historia. Pensé que la joven señorita le vendría bien contarse con todas las culturas, pero no solo con la de Reyes. Soy una inteligencia. Lamentablemente, vuestra querida hija se ha interesado profundamente por el proceso de León. Primero desarrolló una afinidad por el rey Carlos, que parece haber degenerado en un entorpecimiento extremo. Se me quedó mirando con los ojos como plato cuando le conté cómo había unificado a los bárbaros con supuestamente incorporable poderío y carisma. Cada vez que intentaba cambiar de lección a otra más importante, insistía en la idea del nuevo decano, de cómo los herodianos dicen que su pelo era doble de amarillo del sol y de que su barbilla estaba más insulada que el pico más alto del sable largo. Ya van 2 veces que he tenido que arrancar los dibujos que había creado en su imperio en los que representaba a este hombre sinfonista. Luego pasamos a los hombres lobo, lo cual fue aún peor, como tal vez ya sepáis, los problemas venían de ser el título de Dan y Hart, Dane y Haskell, que decía que Dane había sido nombrado de Haskell descendió de ningún hombre o mujer incluidos sentiría, por ejemplo, de esa naturaleza de ser algo más que pertenece, pero ya conocéis a los herodianos, su amor por la fama, etc. Por desgracia, estos historias de hombres lobos avivaron la imaginación de los señores. Cuando surgió preparar una presentación para vos y tu señor padre, no pude negarme, me temo que es por esta que la celeste iba corriendo que la nación pudiese decir desmarcados en su nombre de la nación. Estaba ensayando una escena de gestos de pelo en la que gestos de pelo los distintos nerviosos me habían informado de ciertas reliquias familiares de incalculable valor han quedado destruidas en medio de tanta confusión. No soy capaz de expresar la consternación que siento por esa palabra. Si mi abyecto fracaso como escritor acarrea mi testimonio de que representan una carta de mano de meses entre 10
I grew up in Ferelden near Honda. I was transferred to Kirkwall shortly after the Blight. This is the first I've returned in almost 10 years.
You haven't seen Ferelden in 10 years. Are you glad to be back?
I was not sorry to leave at the time. I did not expect to return. Now, between the Divine's murder and the breach, I've arrived to find nothing but chaos.
You were in Ferelden during the Blight. Did you fight Darkspawn?
No. I was stationed at Ferelden's Circle Tower. The Circle had troubles of its own. I remained there during the Blight.
What happened at the Circle Tower?
Few who survived the Blight have fond memories of that time. I prefer not to speak.
What was Kirkwall like?
While I was there, Canary occupied and then attacked the city. The Viscount's murder caused political unrest. Relations between mages and Templars fell apart. State blew up the Chantry, and the Knight Commander went mad. Other than that, it was fine.
What happened between Kirkwall's mages and Templars?
You were at the Conclave. You must have heard people speak of it.
Yes, but you were there.
There was tension between mages and Templars long before I arrived. Eventually, it reached a breaking point. There was fighting in the streets. Abominations began killing both sides. It was a nightmare.
What happened then?
The Templars should have restored order. But Red Lyrian had driven Knight Commander Meredith mad. She threatened to kill Kirkwall's champion. Turned on her own men. I'm not sure how far she would have gone. Too far.
So you opposed her?
I stood with the champion against her, in the end. I should have seen through Meredith sooner.
Varric's from Kirkwall. Did you two know each other?
I knew he was friends with the champion of Kirkwall, but little else. We've spoken more since I joined the Inquisition, largely at Varric's insistence. Apparently, I spend too much time with a serious expression on my face, and it's bad for my health.
I'll let you return to your work.
Should you require anything, I'll be here.
puedo hablar
Was there
más con
something
él.
you needed?
Ok,
That's all for now.
I'm sure you have other matters to attend.
Me falta hablar con Cassandra.
Ugh.
Worried?
Is it that obvious?
I'm afraid so.
Did I do the right thing? What I have set in motion here could destroy everything I have revered my whole life. One day they may write about me as a traitor, a madwoman, a fool, and they may be right.
What does your faith tell you?
I believe you are innocent. I believe more is going on here than we can see. And I believe no one else cares to do anything about it. They will stand in the fire and complain that it is hot. But is this the Maker's will? I can only guess.
You don't think I'm the Herald of Andraste?
I think you were sent to help us. I hope you were. But the Maker's help takes many forms. Sometimes it's difficult to discern who it truly benefits, or how.
What's going to happen now?
Now, we deal with the Chantry's panic over you before they do even more harm. Then we close the breach. We are the only ones who can. After that, we find out who is responsible for this chaos, and we end them. And if there are consequences to be paid for what I have done, I pay them. I only pray the price is not too high.
You didn't have any choice.
Didn't I? My trainers always said, Cassandra, you are too brash. You must think before you act. I see what must be done, and I do it. I see no point in running around in circles like a dog chasing its tail. But I misjudged you in the beginning, did I not? I thought the answer was before me, clear as day. I cannot afford to be so careless again.
Can't say I'm not grateful to hear that.
I can be harsh, I know. You've said you don't believe you're chosen. Does that mean you also don't believe in the Maker?
I believe he exists.
That's comforting. Surely the Maker put us both on this path for a reason. Now it simply remains to see where it leads us. It occurs to me I don't actually know much about you.
What do you want to know?
I'm not sure. Where are you from?
I thought you knew that.
I suppose I could ask Liliana. She has collected a frightening amount of information on you. But I don't want to ask her. I want to hear it from you.
I was born in Oswick, and that's where most of my family is.
The Trevellians, is it not? A large clan with a rather clever coat of arms. Tell me, do you consider the Free Marches your home? Are you eager to go back?
Wherever I am is home enough for me.
That's how I feel now, after years of tending to business for the Divine.
I'd like to get to know you better.
You would?
Is that a problem?
Not entirely. I'm just curious as to your motivation.
No motivation beyond making things between us less
antagonistic?
Exactly.
As you wish. My name is Cassandra Pendergast, daughter of the Royal House of Navarra, 78th in line for the Navarran throne. I joined the Seekers of Truth as a young woman, and was with the Order until they withdrew from the Chantry. I remained as the Divine's right hand, carrying out her order to form the Inquisition. And here we are. That's all there is to know, my lady.
You're a member of Navarra's royal family.
The Pentaghasts are a very large clan. Half of Cumberland could say the same.
Really?
No, but it feels that way. I have hundreds of relatives so distant they need charts to prove we're related at all. And they have them. Oh yes. The Pentaghasts value their precious blood like it runs with gold.
And you joined the Seekers to get away from that?
It was a life worth getting away from. The Pentaghasts are famed for dragon hunting, but few actually pursue the craft. Most are fat and lazy. They pay lip service to the Maker and care only for idle pleasures and past glories. My brother was all that kept me in Navarra. Once he was gone, so was I.
Tell me about your brother.
I would prefer not to speak of Anthony. Another time, perhaps.
You don't seem to like your homeland much.
My family polluted it for me. What little I saw of my homeland was through the bars of a gilded cage. My uncle treated me like a porcelain doll to be placed on a shelf and dusted only when necessary. Thus I did not see Navarra, the real Navarra, until much later. By then I realized I knew it not at all.
Your uncle? What about your parents?
They had the misfortune of taking the wrong side in the second attempt to overthrow King Marcus. The king executed them, but spared my brother and I since we were family and children at the time. Thus we were raised by my uncle, a mortalitasi who preferred the company of his corpses to the living.
Your uncle was a mortalitasi?
A death mage. He still is. My countrymen do not burn the dead, they bury them in special crypts. The mortalitasi supervise the crypts, like priests. Uncle Vestalis oversees the grand necropolis. Navarrans spend more time honoring dead relatives than they do with living ones. It is odd to be so fascinated with death and its trappings. I will never understand it.
So you are the right hand to the Divine?
To Divine Justinia, yes. And Divine Beatrix before her, in fact. The position is normally reserved for Templars of the Knights Divine, but my circumstances were unusual.
Unusual how?
You don't know the story? Thank the Maker. I will tell you if you wish, but it isn't as exciting as some drum it up to be. The short version is that I once saved the previous Divine's life. My reward was becoming her right hand.
But what does a right hand do, exactly?
What is your hand capable of? It gives, it takes, it beckons. It makes a fist. Liliana and I extended the Divine's reach beyond the Grand Cathedral. We went where she could not. After Beatrix, I was tired of the position and wanted to return to the Seekers. But Justinia convinced me to stay. Her vision for the future gave me hope.
You thought she could really change things?
Justinia knew the war was coming long before it began. She tried to avert it, but the forces arrayed against her were too strong. Sometimes you have to break a bone so it can be reset. That's where the Inquisition comes in. It was to be the answer. A means to preserve as well as an agent for change. I only wish she had lived to see it.
So, what's the story about you becoming the right hand?
Sweet Andraste, do you really want to hear that? It was, what, 18, 20 years ago? Some still discuss it like it happened yesterday. The tale gets bigger each time it's told. I barely recognize myself within it now.
I'm sure you're just being modest.
I was there. I think I know what happened. to hear others tell it. I alone saved Divine Beatrix from a horde of dragons sent to assault the Grand Cathedral. Rather impressive for such a young seeker, wouldn't you say?
And the truth is?
I stumbled upon a conspiracy to kill Beatrix. A Templar Knight Commander was at its heart. And there was a dragon battle at the Grand Cathedral, but I had help from loyal mages who rallied to the cause. They freed the dragons from magical control. Without them, the Divine and I would both have died. Yet I became the right hand, and they are forgotten.
What happened to the mages that helped you?
They went back to their circles, with rewards and privileges and most holy gratitude. Many of them died at the conflict.
I think you're a hero, no matter how you tell me.
Fine. But it was 20 years ago. I will not rest upon my laurels.
I'll let you get back to work.
Ok, voy a leer todos estos y una vez que acabe de leer, voy a ir de aquí, ya me aburrió tanto. Ok, una vez que acabe de leer esto, haré el stream. Grupos. Ok, aquí hay dos, 19 y 20. La buscadora de la verdad. Los buscadores de la verdad no son templarios, no precisamente. Antaño se les llamaba la Inquisición. Pero tras la firma del acuerdo Nevarro, reducieron a ese nombre y se convirtieron en la orden que es ahora, que supervisa a los templarios como vigilantes y verdugos. Sinceramente, eso es todo lo que puedo afirmar. No sé cuántos buscadores hay, unas docenas quizá. Si tienen una base de operaciones, ignoro dónde se encuentra, pero seguro que no la tienen con ninguno de nosotros. La única vez que veamos a un buscador será cuando éste sea convocado, quizá en respuesta de una queja presentada por uno de los primeros encantadores. Investigará el problema y resultará que el templario hizo algo que no le gustó, aplicará disciplina con severidad, sin preguntas, e incluso el caballero comandante se doblega ante su voluntad. Si aparece un buscador de la verdad, verás a todos y cada uno de los templarios bañados en sudor, deseando que su mirada no se pose en ellos. Por supuesto, eso cambió cuando se rompió el acuerdo Nevarro. Dicen que lo rompió la capilla, pero fue el Lord Buscador Lambert quien anunció la noticia. Dijo que los buscadores de la verdad y la orden templaria darían caza a los magos rebeldes, independientemente de las órdenes de la divina. Ignoraba que tuviera tanta autoridad que bastara con que dijera eso para que todos le siguiéramos. Pero así fue. Nunca lo había visto desde esta perspectiva, pero los buscadores siempre han sido nuestros guías y ahora nos conducen a la guerra. De una carta escrita de Jonathan Perry en el 940 del Dragón. Okay. Los Pentagast. Desaparecieron hace siglos y que regresaron solo recientemente, al inicio de esta era. Algunos miembros de nuestro clan han retomado la antigua profesión por nostalgia, como mi primo Ferdinand, pero aquellos días han quedado atrás. Actualmente hay 14 ramas genealógicas y 18 si tenemos en cuenta nuestros lazos con los Van Markham, y en todas ellas hay múltiples familias y linajes serpententes que nos emparentan prácticamente con todas las casas principales de Teda. Son muy conscientes de que la salud del rey Marcus decrece y que ni él ni Ferdinand tienen hijos. Pero no te equivoques, será otro Pentagast quien ocupe el trono de Navarra. Ese nombre o mujer nos llevará al futuro próspero. No habrá ninguna guerra civil. De una carta escrita por la baronesa Alia Pentagast en el 938 del dragón. Ok, creo que son todos. Perfecto. Ok, aquí hay uno. Estudio de la quinta ruina, volumen 2. Los guardas buscaron a Ar y Montío difunto del rey Kalian, con la esperanza de poder formar las tropas de la nobleza fereldiana. Al llegar a Riscos Rojos se encontraron con el Ar, estaba enfermo y a punto de morir. Sus caballeros habían partido en busca de la única cura posible para Alimon, las legendarias cenizas de Andraste. La aldea que rodeaba el torreón sufría de algunos ataques de cadáveres animados todas las noches, pero los guardas acabaron con el demonio responsable de los muertos vivientes antes de unirse a la búsqueda de la cura de Arlimon. Nadie sabe con certeza si los guardas encontraron el lugar de descanso de Nuestra Señora de Andraste, pero lo que fuera que encontraron salvó la vida de Arl en Risco Rojo. Al recuperarse, Arl Guerrin convocó a la gran asamblea y viajó a Denerim junto a los guardas. Los nobles de Ferelden declararon a Ter Logain culpable de abuso de poder y fue sentenciado a unirse a los guardas grises para expiar sus crímenes. Además, la gran asamblea fue testigo del compromiso de la reina Anora con Alistar, el hijo perdido de Maric. Los nobles se comprometieron a enviar sus ejércitos para combatir la ruina. Las fuerzas aliadas se enfrentaron al archidemonio y acabaron con él en la ciudad de Denerim, pero pagaron un alto precio. La mayoría parte de la ciudad quedó en ruinas, y quien reunió a los ejércitos, conocido más tarde como la leyenda de Ferelden, falleció en combate. La quinta ruina terminó antes de que la mayor parte de la población de Teda supiese que había empezado, y dejó una herida terrible en Ferelden. Las pérdidas sufridas en Ostagar y Denerim pusieron en peligro la seguridad del reino. El sur de Ferelden, desde la espesura de Korcari hasta los límites de Banorn, todavía es el día de hoy un páramo. Se desconoce hasta dónde llegarán las consecuencias de ese evento o las olas que ya ha creado. Desde la quinta ruina de la hermana Petrin, erudita de la capilla. Ok. Oh no. Cantar de los difuntos los guiará a las sendas. Suele cantarse el luto. Ok, ese ya lo leí. Lugares. 40. Nevarra. La cuarta vez que intenté cruzar la frontera desde Orley a Nevarra, fui rechazado por los gentilhombres. Decidí afrontar el problema de una forma menos directa, un barco de vuelta a Ferelden y luego otra a Nevarra. El resultado compensó los problemas. Todo el país resuma arte, desde las estatuas de los héroes que salpican las calles de los pueblos más insignificantes hasta el resplandeciente colegio de los magos de Cumberland. Quizá lo más sorprendente sea la vasta necrópolis en los exteriores de la ciudad de Nevarra. A diferencia de la mayoría de los seguidores de Andraste, los nevarranos no queman a sus muertos. En lugar de ello, preservan cuidadosamente sus cadáveres en tumbas elaboradas. Algunos de los nevarranos más adinerados comienzan la construcción de sus tumbas cuando todavía son bastante jóvenes y acaban siendo palacios increíbles llenos de jardines, baños y salones de baile. Completamente silencioso solo para los muertos, en búsqueda del saber, viajes del erudito de la capilla del hermano Gentivi. Ok, voy a guardar aquí y para ver el stream de seguir.